Hi everyone, this is Wendy Ramlakhan with SugarPea Designs. I'm going to share with you today how I do my cloud backgrounds. I'm asked this most often on my blog, so I thought I would do a tutorial to show everybody how I do it. My image is from There She Goes Clear Stamps. These images are from the Puppy Love stamp set. It's already been colored and the grass has been created using Copics, and now it's ready for clouds to be added. I start with a cloud template. I created this a couple of years back. It's just a freehand drawn kind of scalloped cloud type of a template, and then I cut it out. And I use, this is just paper tray ink cardstock. It's 110 pounds, so it's very sturdy and it gets lots of use and abuse. It holds up really well. I use Versamagic chalk ink. It's called Aspen Mist. That's the name of the color I use. I like it because it's a really pretty misty blue gray kind of color. It's not a bright blue. It's not too cartoony looking. It's just kind of that perfect sky color. And I like it that it's chalk because with ink, it's a little bit more hard to control. And this, I can actually even wipe it off just a tiny little bit if when I'm first starting. I use a regular dry brush, stippling dry brush that you can get at the craft store. Nothing fancy. You can tell that I've used this one for when I'm doing my clouds. That's the brush I use. And then next I just kind of get a scrap piece of paper and have that beside me so that I can kind of brush off some excess ink before I actually get it onto my actual project. I also sometimes use Tim Holtz Distressing Broken China. It's a nice color. I like it. Sometimes I'll even mix the two colors together, so that's another alternative. But I really like the chalk ink for the control that I can have. Okay, next I just kind of take the template and I decide where I want to place the clouds. You can mask your image so that you don't get any ink on it when you're doing your clouds, but I am way too lazy for that. I want to make sure that I see the top of the clouds. I don't want to see like it be, especially at the top, I don't want to see it cut off. I think that looks a little strange. So I'll brush off some of the excess. I brush off some of the excess so that the color is not quite so intense, and it gives it a more softer kind of, you know, um, feeling. It's not so vibrant. It's a little softer. So I just keep brushing and adding more ink as I need to, and before I put it onto the project I make sure that I kind of brush some of that off onto my scrap paper before putting it back onto the image. Okay, alright, I'm going to lift up the image, lift up the template, and now you'll see that it's starting to take shape, and we have some clouds starting to form. So one of the cool things about having a template or creating a template like this for yourself is that you can reposition, you can flip this over, and now your scallops are kind of going in the other direction, and it makes for more interesting cloud kind of formations. I apologize, my camera does not want to stay in focus while I'm doing this, so I apologize for it going in and out of focus. But you can see as I'm getting closer to her head, I'm kind of going a little bit slower. I'm taking more time so that I don't get ink on top of her hair where I've already colored the image, because once you do that, you know, you can't undo it. So again, you can mask. I'm just being really lazy, and I'd prefer just to go take my time just a little bit rather than masking the image. I add a little bit more ink sometimes, a little bit less as I'm brushing it on. Maybe it's not as heavy in some places. I know that this is kind of looking a little bit gray, but I promise you that it's just the lighting. There is no gray. I'm not making gray clouds. They are all very pretty blue. You can kind of see it over there in the left-hand corner. It's just the lighting. But I will take my template and I will flip it this way, upside down, left, right, backwards, just to find the kind of cloud formation that I think looks best for the size of image that I'm working with. And then just keep brushing it on and continue to move it around until I've filled up the entire background, and that's all there is to it. And you can see the way that I've positioned this template is so that the majority of the template is over on top of the actual colored image, so that I'm not actually in any kind of risk of getting ink on the little girl or the little puppy at all. And so I just kind of keep doing that um, and flipping this around and moving it around until I find like I said, a cloud formation that I think would look good, and just keep going, adding more ink. And once again, you can see that I'm using the template. I'm actually going to use this puffier cloud kind of part of the template to go over the dog. So again, I'm not going to be getting the chalk ink on top of him. And I am, again, you can see I'm going a little bit slower and being a little bit more careful. That's one of the things I like about the chalk ink. It's not, if you do get a little bit on your image, it's not quite so drastic. It's really not as noticeable as if you were using a pigment ink to do sponging. And again, sponging, and it's there. So the brush is a little bit softer and you have a little bit more control about how heavy that you want to be and how light handed you want to be too. And see here, I've just added a touch. I forgot to brush off before I went on my project, and I can actually just take my thumb and kind of just smooth that out and rub that out and soften it so that it's not so much ink laying down and it's not as intense. So that's why I like to use chalk ink, and that's really all there is to doing a cloud background. I appreciate you taking a look at my video, and I hope you enjoyed it. Okay, thanks. Bye-bye. Bye bye.